We just witnessed the absolute heist of the century with the unbelievable steal of Dillon Thieneman at pick 25. But that is only the beginning of the madness. The dust has finally settled on the NFL draft, and our depth chart has been completely flipped upside down with game-changing competition at almost every single position. If you thought last year's roster was stacked, you are absolutely not ready for the terrifying potential of this newly revamped lineup. Before we dive into every single shocking roster change, please do me a massive favor and smash that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a single update. Seriously though, when was the last time we walked out of a draft weekend with this much elite firepower and downright scary depth across the board? Are we finally looking at the roster that brings a championship back home? We brought in Dillon Thieneman in the first round, grabbed Logan Jones in the second, and then scooped up Sam Roush and Xavier Thomas in the third. From there, we reinforced the trenches in the secondary with Malik Muhammad in the fourth, Keyshawn Elliott in the fifth, and the absolute wild card defensive tackle Jordan Van Den Berg in the sixth. What this means is raw, cutthroat competition from top to bottom, and as fans, that is exactly what we want to see. Let us talk about the quarterbacks first. There are no earth-shattering surprises here. Caleb Williams is obviously the undisputed face of the franchise and the day one starter. Tyson Bagent firmly holds down that backup spot, while Case Keenum is still hanging around as the veteran mentor and your dependable third stringer. But what is truly fascinating is the addition of Miller Moss. Coming in as an undrafted free agent, he reunites with his former USC teammate Caleb Williams. He slots in right now as the fourth quarterback and a very strong practice squad candidate. Given the depth, I fully expect the top three to safely make the final 53-man roster, especially since Keenum is locked into a 2-year deal. The real intrigue is whether the front office decides to keep a fourth arm around on the practice squad this year. Moving seamlessly into the running back room, it is a very similar story. A lot of us thought they might aggressively target a back early on day 2, but they played it smart and went with a skill player instead. The dynamic 1-2 punch of DeAndre Swift and Kyle Manengai is returning, and they are ready to run it back. Behind them, we have guys like Coleman Bennett, Deion Hankins, who is still recovering from his injuries, and Britton Brown all clawing for those backup spots or practice squad elevations. The burning question is what happens with that third running back role. Does Roscoe Johnson get one final shot to prove he belongs, or do they bring in a dirt-cheap veteran before training camp? And honestly, do not rule out the rookie receiver Xavier Thomas stealing backfield snaps. When Swift and Manengai were fully healthy last season, they utterly dominated the snap count. We barely saw guys like Travis Homer see the field. He logged maybe 10 offensive snaps all year. So, going light on traditional running backs to keep more versatile weapons like Thomas on the roster is a highly realistic, and frankly, brilliant scenario. Speaking of absolute weapons, the wide receiver room is an embarrassment of riches. You already know we have Rome Odunze and Luther Burden terrorizing cornerbacks as our top two guys. It honestly does not even matter who you label as the primary or secondary target because both of them are total nightmares to defend. The absolute bloodbath is going to be the fight for that wide receiver 3 spot. You have Walker and Khalif Raymond, who they brought over in free agency, battling furiously against the rookie Xavier Thomas. Thomas is an absolute human joystick. The kid is electric in the open field and can completely flip the momentum of a game in a single play. If they keep 6 receivers, the final spot is a total toss-up between guys like Amari Kelly, J.P. Richardson, the absolute speed demon Squirrel White, who casually ran a sub-4.3 at his pro day, and the veteran Maurice Alexander, who has been around the system for a few years now. But Thomas is the shiny new toy, and I am incredibly eager to see if he immediately factors into the passing game, or starts out purely as a return specialist. It is going to be incredibly fascinating to watch how quickly he carves out a notable role in such a complex offense. Now, before we get to the tight ends, I need to hear from you. This brings us to our official question of the day. Let me know down in the comments, which rookie, strictly excluding Dillon Thieneman because he is an obvious lock to start, is going to have the single biggest impact on this team this year. Drop your thoughts below because I am reading every single one. If I had to guess, the tight end room might dictate the answer to that question because this group is downright terrifying. We used the top 70 pick on Stanford's Sam Roush, and he is going to make this offense so incredibly dangerous. Colston Loveland is only going to get better, and Cole Kmet remains the ultimate reliable safety valve and a ferocious blocker for Caleb Williams. Roush brings a little bit of everything to the table. He is intensely athletic, highly physical, and despite not having the longest arms for pass protection, his sheer athleticism completely makes up for it. He is going to be an incredibly reliable pass catcher. The entire NFL is trending toward lighter, faster defenses, and the perfect counter-attack is heavy 12 and 13 personnel. We ranked 5th in 12 personnel and 6th in 13 personnel last year, and I guarantee you we are going to climb even higher on those lists. You are going to see Kmet, Loveland, and Roush on the field together constantly. Durham Smythe played 240 snaps last year, and I fully expect Roush to obliterate that number, likely pushing closer to 300 snaps. Flowing right into the trenches, if you told me a few years ago that our offensive line would be one of our deepest units, I would have laughed in your face. But here we are. The starting five might look a little different, but the depth is staggering. Ozzie Trapilo really came into his own, and we have to wonder if Braxton Jones or someone else is going to step up and play at that ascending level we saw late last year. The center position is where the real drama unfolds. Garrett Bradbury and Drew Dalman are the veterans, though Dalman struggled down the stretch last year while battling a knee issue. But now we have the rookie Logan Jones breathing down their necks. Jones was an absolute fortress at Iowa with 51 starts, surrendering just a single sack and taking exactly 0 penalties last season. He is a highly cerebral player, brilliantly athletic, and fits the scheme flawlessly. Surrounded by absolute maulers like Joe Thuney and Jonah Jackson at the guard spots, Jones could thrive, especially in the toss game. I would not be shocked if we wake up one day during training camp and hear that Logan Jones is taking first-team reps. Let us flip over to the defense, starting with the defensive line. We have to be brutally honest here. As passionate fans, we know that on paper, this is still the glaring weakness of the squad. There are undeniably good pieces in place. Montez Sweat is an absolute monster, and I am highly optimistic about Austin Booker's future. But the interior is a massive, frustrating question mark. Grady Jarrett looked a bit better in the second half of last year once his knee healed, but let us face reality. He is no longer the dominant, game-wrecking force he used to be. Jervin Dexter flashes brilliance, but he disappears way too often and remains wildly inconsistent. The rotation of Neville Gallimore, Kentavious Street, and James Lynch just needs to be serviceable. The massive wild card here is the 6th-round rookie, Jordan Van Den Berg. He possesses freakish athletic traits for his size, but expecting a late-round rookie to anchor the defensive line in his first year is asking for a miracle. On the edge, we are stuck with massive contracts for guys like Deo Odeyingbo. We just desperately need one of those guys, or maybe Shamar Turner, to step up and perform. We do not even need this defensive line to be a top 10 unit. If they can just elevate from a bottom 5 group to a bottom 10 or average unit, say, the 22nd best line in the league instead of the 30th, the rest of the defense will absolutely carry them to glory. Moving back to the linebackers, the philosophy shift is glaringly obvious. Speed, speed, and more speed. Tremaine Edmonds is officially out, and Devin Bush is in. T.J. Edwards is still holding down the fort, and while he may not be the fastest guy on the turf, he is an incredibly reliable tackling machine when fully healthy. DeMarco Jackson offers that crucial, versatile chess piece speed, and Ruben Hippolyte has a massive year ahead of him to prove his worth. But the guy you must continuously watch is the rookie, Keyshawn Elliott. A lot of draft analysts had a firm top 100 grade on him, and we somehow stole him at pick 166. He plays with vicious, downhill instincts in the run game. Is he ready to start on day one? Probably not. He still needs to drastically refine his coverage skills on obvious passing downs. But if he can develop into just a league-average coverage linebacker while maintaining his elite run-stopping ability, he could easily become our future starting Mike linebacker, flanked by Devin Bush at the will and Marco Jackson at the Sam. Finally, we arrive at the absolute crown jewel of this roster, the secondary. Along with the offensive line, this is undeniably our deepest and most talented room. At cornerback, you have absolute studs who have proven themselves with a mountain of starts. Jalen Johnson, Tariq Stevenson, and Kyler Gordon are a lethal trio. Terrell Smith has valuable game experience. We have excellent depth and special teams aces with guys like Josh Blackwell, Jalen Jones, and hopefully a healthy Zay Frazier back in the fold. But do not sleep on the rookie Malik Muhammad. I am telling you right now, this kid is an absolute dog. He is a scrappy, violently competitive press corner. Sure, he weighed in a bit light at the combine at 182 pounds, but he was up to 190 at his pro day. Get him into an NFL strength program, bulk him up to 195 pounds, and watch him thrive. He is not afraid to get his hands dirty, and he is going to push Tariq Stevenson to his absolute limit in camp. And at safety, we completely overhauled the starting lineup. Pairing the rookie sensation Dillon Thieneman with Kobe Bryant gives us a terrifying tandem. Everyone thought Thieneman would be long gone, and there were rumors the front office loved Colton Hood, but Thieneman fell right into our laps at pick 25, making him an undeniable top-tier steal. Elijah Hicks will likely serve as the primary backup alongside the versatile safety nickel hybrid Cam Lewis, with undrafted free agent Skylar Thomas battling as a deep sleeper. Giving a brilliant defensive mind like Dennis Allen this kind of versatile chess piece secondary is going to result in opposing quarterbacks having absolute nightmares. When you look at this roster from top to bottom, even the special teams battles are intensely intriguing. We have Bo Gardner out of Georgia fighting Luke Elzinga for the long snapper job since Scott Daly was not brought back. Torrey Taylor is locked in as our punter. And while Cairo Santos is the assumed starter at kicker, they brought in Gabriel Placencia, a phenomenal lefty out of San Diego State, to keep the competition blazing hot. But if you ask me what the absolute strongest position group on this roster is right now to cap off this wild offseason, it has to be the tight ends. Cole Kmet is a legitimate starter on almost any other franchise in this league. Pairing him with Colston Loveland and the immense upside of Sam Roush gives us, without a doubt, the absolute best and most dangerous tight end trio in the entire National Football League.